So after a long and stressful and troubling 2 years, today is a happy day. As you can hear by the noise, Seminyak is alive again. It's nothing compared to what it was like 2 or 3 years ago. But it's a start, and it's great to see there are tourists walking around, and Bali is an island paradise. It's known as an island paradise, but it should be an island paradise for everybody, not just for a chosen few. So there's millions of tourists that frequent Bali every year on a normal year, and many people don't know what goes on outside of their hotel walls. There's a lot more to Bali than beach clubs, swimming pools and cocktails.
Aku ngelihat kameramu miring, jujur aja. Oke. Sound oke?
So, mungkin could you introduce yourself first?
Oke. Bahasa Inggris ya? Oke. My name is Rio Helmi. I'm a photographer and I've lived in Bali for 45 years. And I've been involved in other things besides photography, a lot of different things. But basically, it's because I live here.
Dulunya wilayah sini itu bukan seperti ini, sangat kumuh sekali dan tidak rumah pun tidak tertata seperti sini. Ini bekas sekolah ini dulunya adalah semak-semak, bukan ini. Terdahulu rumah-rumah di sini atapnya itu dari bambu semuanya. Genteng-genteng ini tidak ada waktu saya masuk di sini.
Iki becik ni ke hujan batu ni ke becik iki. Wow, dereng ni ke wow kenda ni ke dereng. Ampun suka-suka ni wow enten jalan mobil. Napi sama enten ke Honda tan, mobil tan ni ke.
Saya kan tinggalnya di sana di hutan waktu kecil. Nggak punya bak, nggak ada air, susah sih hidupnya dulu.
Kalau benar-benar dari pusatnya itu jauh sekali, nyampe 1 jam, jalannya jelek sekali. Bisa nyampe 4 kali ngambilnya, itu pun kadang nggak cukup sehari.
Everybody deserves to have some basic things. Shelter, food, water, everybody deserves, you know. It's a right. We have this stuff. Why can't we, you know, get it for them?
Kalau bukan karena Yayasan Ekotorin yang pertama ke sini, mungkin pemerintah tidak akan ini ke wilayah Ban terutama itu. Karena dari ujung sana di atas itu waktu itu Yayasan Ekotorin juga yang membuka jalannya, mengasih semen juga sehingga mobil waktu itu bisa masuk ke sini.
I established it legally on the 25th of July 1998, and the village of Ban in East Bali. It was the end of my 4-year search for the poorest village, basically in Indonesia, where there was no road access, no education, no healthcare, and no accessible water. And so eventually then when I meet with all of the community members, I do it in a way that talks to them on the same level. I'm here, you said you need me, well then if you do, we'll work together to find solutions that you want, not what I suggest.
So David Booth and his team at East Bali Poverty Project have basically built this community, the community of Ban, or the Desa Ban, from the ground up. David's a very passionate man, and he did his research also. This just wasn't willy-nilly. He spoke with the villagers, he spoke with the people, and he found out what they wanted and giving them what they require, what they want.
I believe that if we have privilege, if we have, goods, then we should use it well. And use it well doesn't mean to have like a wah life, and all this. What it means is, be a good person, help others, because it's just basically what we are. We're all totally dependent on each other. Nobody stands alone. Nobody's independent. It's bullshit. I mean, look, the shirt that I wear, somebody made it. The cotton came from somewhere. The food I eat, people grow it. Who is independent? Who's independent? You think some guy who's a multi-billionaire is independent? He's not independent. He's completely, benefiting from everybody else, and we all are benefiting from everybody else. So it means that if you're benefiting from everybody else, you have to do your turn too. It's kind of simple, not so difficult.
Saya diajak oleh David ke desa itu, Desa Ban. Saya kaget karena desa itu memang saya dapatkan sangat miskin, terisolasi, kering, masyarakatnya juga kotor ya. Anak-anaknya banyak yang sakit kulit dan sangat kotor, air sulit. Ya, yang jelas itu stunting banyak di sana. Stunting banyak. Orangnya kurus-kurus, kecil-kecil.
When we did a survey in 1999-2000 with Dr. Indraguna, the average child mortality before age 1 was 30%. Since establishing these health posts and training local cadres to run them in the government plan, we basically, for about 10 years now, very rarely of the 300 children approximately born every year, none have died in the last few years except one last year, I think one 3 years ago. And this is because of education and awareness to the parents and family so they can take full responsibility for the child's health, hygiene, nutrition, and of course sanitation.
Yang pertama kendalanya adalah medan, ya, karena tidak semua jalan di sana itu baik. Kalau main roadnya atau jalan utamanya memang bagus, tapi antar dusun masih ada beberapa yang off-road.
Selain itu, penyebab dari masalah gizi buruk ini juga pengetahuan. Jadi pengetahuan masyarakat yang masih kurang, yang masih mengikuti mitos-mitos, yang masih mengikuti ajaran dari nenek kakeknya turun-temurun. Nah, jadi karena masih berpatokan pada apa yang dijelaskan oleh orang tuanya terlebih dahulu, sehingga itu juga menyebabkan anak-anak mengalami gizi buruk.
So we're still now on the health programs, the disabilities and malnutrition program, and with Dr. Indraguna, and also recently for safe water filters for communities. We've started collaborating with Terra Water. They are a fairly new company, but fantastic water filters. I looked at them compared to others. They seem to have a better functionability.
As a business, we're set up as a social enterprise. So we sell a high-end water filter, It's 2.4 million as we speak, and that has the highest margins for us. We reinvest that so that we can run our social programming. You know, I didn't realize that East Bali Poverty Project was out here still working on families, and obviously disasters don't help. It means that the need continues.
Before the Mount Agung erupted in 1963, were there any other mountain strains active? They all said yes, but those completely closed up because, especially up in Mount Agung, where the eruption was very large, and there's a lot of lava flows, and the lava flows literally closed some of them completely.
Mereka semua pakai rada air hujan yang ditampung dalam satu cubang. Nah, itulah yang mereka pergunakan untuk keperluan sehari-hari.
It's clear that there's a huge need here, perhaps more than we've seen anywhere else in Bali. So they were on the top of my list of organizations to work for. Access to drinking water should be for anyone, and that filters, purifying water, should be as simple as possible. And so something as simple as providing safe drinking water, it's a no-brainer. It's changing people's lives literally and saving people's lives at the same time.
Kita tidak bisa melakukan segala sesuatu itu sendiri. Jadi kita masih memerlukan orang-orang yang ahli di bidangnya, karena terlalu banyak permasalahan yang ada di desa Ban.
Sangat innocent gitu keluarga mereka itu. Mereka betul-betul tidak mengerti sebetulnya. We are human gitu ya. Jadi kita adalah manusia dan mereka adalah saudara, sama-sama orang Bali. Sehingga ini yang merasa terpanggil. Jadi lebih arah kepada panggilan dibandingkan karena harus program atau ini enggak.
There are NGOs and NGOs. Some of the NGOs are really together and working really well, and there's a lot of, sometimes in some of the NGOs, there's a lot of petty stuff that goes on, jealousies and stuff, and I find that really boring. So I'm not going to sit here and say all NGOs are, no, it's not true. But there is sometimes some of them who are just a little bit, I have no time for it. I'm totally respectful for those who do the work, and who go out and who do stuff and make a difference, and there's a lot of them who do. I'm very, very appreciative of them. Whether they're motored by mixed foreign or Indonesian only, I don't care. I mean, I'm mixed. What do I care? Get it done. That's what's important.
East Bali Poverty Project has done some amazing things, and for me one of the most amazing things was this bamboo bicycle. So the entire framework is made out of bamboo. In my mind, is something that every five-star hotel that rents bicycles or gives guests use of bicycles should be using. I think your guests will love it. It will be the talk of their trip. I went to Bali, I rode a bamboo bicycle. I think it's a fantastic thing to do.
Owning a bamboo bike is definitely a special experience because you know that this is not something common. It was very stable also because it can absorb the impacts, it maintains the speeds. It's almost like riding on the cloud, absorb all the harshness that I used to experience on a cheap aluminum bike.
So for Desaban, sales of the bamboo bicycles could be life-changing. So obviously it creates jobs for people to harvest the bamboo, it creates jobs for people in the factories to manufacture the bicycles. So there's many jobs could be created. It could be miraculous, it could change people's lives forever.
Kita sudah tanam 80.000 lebih bambu di hampir semua dusun yang ada di Desa Ban. Nah, dengan banyaknya bambu itu kita coba-cobalah timbullah buat sepeda bambu.
It's helping communities to grow their economies, employ more youth, and hopefully my vision is that eventually they will have their own individual bamboo businesses. But it starts with the bikes.
This is the thing that you can see in Ban. What about the long term? You get this crazy English guy and this crazy guy from Tianya, and they're just there all the time. What can we do to make it work? What can we do to make it work? There are immediate solutions and there are long-term solutions. And the long-term solutions, it takes stamina. These people, you know, I kid David a lot. I call him, you know, Sir Knight David and all this stuff. And Komang, you know, it's hard to not comment on his different hairstyles. You know, every week is a kind of different color. But you know, these guys, they do it. And they keep doing it.
Saudara, gempa bermagnitudo 4,8 terjadi di Bali pada pukul 4 waktu Indonesia Tengah.
Bali has just been affected by a devastating earthquake just days ago. I mean, what can you tell us about the situation there? Because it's not good.
It's not good. It's not good at all. The epicenter of which was in Bang, which is in the Karangasem Regency, and the earthquake was 10 kilometers directly under them. It was a 4.8 on the Richter scale.
Dan uning tiang jengcak ni ke Pak. Ampun tiang deg-deg ke ni ke susun tiang bangun dong. Nya gumai orang tu tiang. Bukan tiang bangun terdadak. Ni kita nak dekrisikan tiang. Cuma ke tanggul tiang su.
Saya ke Denpasar sama anak saya yang bayi gitu. Pas pagi-pagi saya lihat sosial media udah dilihat rumahnya udah hancur semua gitu. Kalau rumah berdua udah habis, kalau rumah saya kamarnya hilang, udah semua temboknya udah retak-retak.
Terus waktu gempa itu kan saya tidak bisa keluar. Terus ditimbun lagi sama bataku, kakinya membengkak besar sekali.
Well, last year in 16th of October 2021, there was a very large earthquake with the epicenter in Van village on the slopes of Mount Aban, and which seriously affected the whole village. There were at least 363 homes completely demolished, and about 1,000 others were damaged but could be inhabited and repaired. Now the other thing is that toilets, we provided, as I've said before, about 1,200 toilets. Now many of those, because of the construction of the Batako and the unstable ground of volcanic ash, many of those were completely destroyed.
I understood that there wasn't even a road here, for instance, and we were talking about toilets again before, that 2 years ago perhaps people didn't have toilets, or they'd only just been given toilets, they'd only just had learnt what these were for. Then along comes this earthquake and all of a sudden those toilets are gone again. So it's giving someone something to improve their life, and then again it's just taken away before they actually grasp the whole concept.
What is the government doing for their own people?
Well, okay, technically what we know is that there is set aside, I think, something like 50 million rupiahs per house for, by the government.
Kalau sepengetahuan saya itu belum cair, walaupun ada beberapa bantuan rumah-rumah yang sekarang sudah direalisasi itu merupakan bantuan dari pihak lain, bukan dari pemerintah pusat.
When we have to wait, when that budget gets, actually finally gets, released and blah blah blah, and so there's a really urgent need for something now. And we're all sitting around in David's office one day, me and Komang and David looking at all these things. David just suddenly goes like, well, he said a word that you can't say on camera, but he says, hell with this. He said, let's just do simple A-frames.
So we started off immediately in October delivering those 20 shelters to the most needy families. And so from starting with those new A-frame shelters, when we got the first funding, our first fundraiser in November, from then until now we managed to get funding to build 340 of the shelters. So our target now is also to get the funding for at least 100 toilets. We provided so far 6. This time with the temperatures, there'll be a closet, there'll be a septic tank, and there'll be a privacy shelter around the outside of that. That kept their babies healthy. It's an interesting story. But in the very first time when I met them, and I smiled and don't smile. They didn't know how to. And I pulled funny faces and did funny walks, get them to laugh a bit. Then I would go in frequent, maybe 2 or 3 times a week to the schools up there. And joking all the time, making the kids laugh. And then after about 3 or 4 months, I went up to Cheggy. And the kids were making me laugh. And the local tutor, Ibu Komang, I said, wow, I said, he said, Mr. David, her words were, before you came, we didn't know how to laugh. Laugh at what? You taught us how to. Right? That's the pleasure.
So the question David gets asked, and I hear a lot, is if this area is prone to so many national disasters, why don't the people just pack up and leave? So the answer is not so simple. This is their home, this is where they belong, this is where they were brought up, this is where their parents were brought up, their grandparents were brought up, and this is their land, they own it, this is theirs. So it's not like they can just pack up their little suitcase and off they trot and go and live somewhere else.
3 disasters, 3 natural disasters. They come back, they don't cry. They say, okay, we lost everything, we'll get back to it, right? And the smiles continue, the joking continues, they work a lot harder, but they recoup, they regroup, and they fight back. I mean, I think this is what's been the most exciting lesson for me to see, is how people with so little can be so resilient.
Very interesting things, you know, I saw people who had very little, but that was their life, and they were not complaining about it, and they were, or maybe it was tough, it's hard. But even if they did say something about it, they just kept going. Well, of course, we all need money. You need money, I mean, you got to eat, you got to do this, you got to do that. I mean, everybody needs money. But money by itself, there's an old Beatles song, can't buy me love, oh. That's such a classic cliche, but it's true. And if you have love and you have kindness, and you have friends, then that's the beginning of happiness, because you're not only thinking about yourself. If you're only thinking about yourself, it's going to be very hard to be happy. Impossible, actually, because you get some money and then you're worried about losing it. You get a nice house, a nice car, a nice thing, or even, maybe a nice wife, a nice husband, and then, like you get jealous because they talk to somebody else, what I mean? That's not happiness. Open heart is happiness. Anyway, I'm beginning to feel like a preacher here.
That's what I'm aiming to do.
Oh, okay. We should attend my online courses then.
After this.